Like all of you, I was briefed on this incident shortly earlier today. While the video that you have been provided with and then circulated shows a portion of the events that led to the individual's arrest, like anyone else seeing it for the first time, it does prove rather alarming. Like everyone else in the community, I am extremely concerned, and I completely understand why many might be outraged. I'm very concerned about what I saw, but at the same time, I'm getting more and more information to provide context to what I saw. I'm still digesting this information. I think the most important thing for now is for us to have a very high level of transparent conversation with our community leaders and those folks who are out there and whose job it is and whose interest it is to make sure that our law enforcement officers, especially during a very critical time in policing, protect the level of trust that there exists between the community and law enforcement. Our chief can provide more details with respect to the incident, but I just want to tell you that as mayor, it is in my interest and it is in this community's interest not to jeopardize the relationship between our residents, the trust with our law enforcement. On another note, I support the use of body cameras, as does our police chief and our legislative delegation. And looking forward, in addition to tasking our chief to ensuring the maximal level of investigation of this particular incident and any other incident, to work effectively towards getting body cameras used as a means of ensuring that both the police officers and our community are better served by the use of body cameras. We're going to be looking at these type of videos as the one that was released today forever, and it is up to work together to make sure that we protect everyone involved by having a fuller representations of these incidents so as to not jeopardize that level of relationship and trust between our community and our law enforcement agents. Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for coming down, and I apologize for the late start. This will be just a little bit longer. I'm going to show some videos, I'm going to show some photographs. This is again a continued attempt by your police department and the administration and the entire police department to show what we know at this time of day. So we're less than 2 days out from the actual incident, which occurred Sunday approximately 7 p.m. In the area of Brook and Milder Street. I'm not here to condemn the officer's actions, nor am I here to justify those actions at this point. That will occur after an investigation is concluded, witnesses are located, other officers are interviewed, and we move through the entire physical evidence process as we go. That will take some time. But the public insists, and I agree, that more information in a timely manner must be released so you know that we're transparent and we're talking about these incidents. So, with that said, why don't we start at the end with the video, Brian, and then it will come in chronological order for everyone.
They did beat my nigga in the head with that fucking taser and shit. Damn, that real nigga shit. Damn. She already got him, put my nigga in the cuffs, man.
Take that shit, take that shit.
Damn, they already got him in the chokehold. All you gotta do is put my nigga inside some handcuffs and then. Most definitely, damn. Damn. They cracked my nigga on some evil shit, man.
He not resisting, he died. I'm still beating him and he died.
Real nigga shit, man. Real nigga shit, man. Man, shit real out here, shit real out here. Tell me that only in fucking Hartford, my nigga. Only in Hartford. Yo, hey, yo, they did my nigga real dirty. Damn, I wish I was just, I wish I would have recorded this shit earlier, man. Real shit. My nigga, they did home dirty, bro. They cracked that fucking taser on my nigga head and shit. I wish I would have caught that on the cam, man. I should have caught that shit. Now my nigga gushing and leaking for no fucking reason. Damn, man. Only in fucking Hartford, man. Only in fucking Hartford, man. Another one. You know, this shit going straight to Facebook, my nigga. Real shit. Damn. I wish I would've caught it when home was up in the fucking back, man. This shit crazy out here. This shit crazy. Until then.
Thank you, sir. So let's begin at the beginning of the incident. Let's talk about Brook and Mather Street for a little bit. Historically, since I've been here for 35 years, in and out of the city, always a difficult area for us. Very violent area at times. A lot of children, a lot of youth adults, and adults to go with it. A very difficult area for us. So there were two officers on overtime that day enforcing quality of life and patrolling that area. Increased visibility by the police department after the violence that occurred. Detective Brian Salkeld and Officer Robert Fogg. Officer Robert Fogg is the officer that is striking the defendant upon the legs in the video. Officer Salkeld is the one with the bear hug around the defendant standing position. Both officers have no sustained citizen complaints, no sustained citizen complaints for Officer Fogg either. One does have an administrative accident back in 2001, but has no sustained complaints with citizens. And I will get to Mr. Bryant's criminal history later. It's only fair that I show both sides. So the officers see Mr. Samuel Bryant in the area of Mather and Brook drinking from a bottle in a paper bag. They stop him. They see a knife on him, a knife of legal limit. Take that knife off. As the pat down occurs, their intention is to give him a summons for misdemeanor summons for drinking in public, a quality of life crime that's very difficult for us to enforce, but the communities want those things enforced. As the pat down occurs, he feels something in one of the outer jacket pockets, and Officer Fogg, at which time Officer Fogg wants to handcuff Mr. Bryant. As he tries to handcuff him, Mr. Bryant struggles, he breaks away, and in that breakaway, he elbows Officer Salkeld in the nose. It results in some serious injury later on that I'll talk about, but it also makes Officer Salkeld stumble. A foot chase occurs. Officer Fogg is the only one to chase at this point. A taser deployment by Officer Fogg is initiated. The taser does not take. Officer Fogg believes it did not take because of the heavy coat Mr. Bryant was wearing. The foot chase continues through some backyards. Mr. Bryant does fall. Officer Fogg then displays this taser again, another deployment. This one takes for 5 seconds, but after the 5-second deployment, Mr. Bryant gets up and continues the run. They're cornered. They corner him where Officer Salkeld, Detective Salkeld, catches up with him, and that's when the video ensues. We're going to release the prosecutor's report to you. We're also going to release the use of force to you and a statement that was taken from Mr. Bryant afterwards. And we are diverting from all those things that we used to do in previous years. We're actually showing you up front what we know at this period in time. Incident to arrest, Mr. Bryant is found to be in possession of both crack cocaine and powdered cocaine, in excess of $300, and he has no legitimate source of income as he reports to Officer Fogg. 4 clear, not plastic bags containing powdered substance, 3 clear plastic bags containing rock-like substance. So that results in narcotics charge. It results in a misdemeanor summons for public drinking, interfering with police, assault on a police officer, assault 2nd degree, possession of narcotics, possession with intent to sell, possession within 1,500 feet, there's a criminal mischief in the 3rd degree. So both are taken to the hospital, and I'm sorry if I neglected. After the 2nd taser deployment, Officer Fogg in his report says he strikes Mr. Bryant in the head with his now empty taser, which causes a laceration to Mr. Bryant's head as Mr. Bryant came forward at him with clenched fists. So you'll see that in the police report. Both are transported to St. Francis Hospital. Officers remain at the scene. Officers cleaned up the blood from both the defendant, Mr. Bryant, and Detective Salkeld. I joined Detective Salkeld at the hospital. Later on, Detective Salkeld has a broken nose. He also has abrasions to his right elbow, a laceration to his right forearm, abrasions to his knees, and his clothing is in shambles. I ordered photographs of that, and Sergeant, would you, let's see what happens at the hospital, please. This is the day after photograph. You can see, if I may point out, you can start to see the swelling, you can start to see the broken, the bruised eye, and you can see that the nose is broken. You can go backwards a little further. At the hospital, these are the abrasions to the officer's right knee. This is a photograph of a piece of evidence we ordered seized. We returned some of the personal items. That, you know, this is a struggle. Nothing, absolutely nothing in an altercation between a citizen and police officer is pretty. They never are. These are the abrasions to the right elbow of Detective Salkeld. The torn pants that corresponds to the right knee abrasions. The laceration or the abrasion to the right forearm of Detective Salkeld. And again, the same picture a day after. Now, what's remarkable, the shooting task force members interview Mr. Bryant. And Mr. Bryant, being a 34-year-old male with a history of violence in his background, is the perfect person we would like to talk to. He's in an area he still hasn't aged out of the suspected narcotics activity that he was, evidence was captured on. And they take a statement from Mr. Bryant, post Miranda. And you're going to see that in your package along with the use of force. And it's remarkable. And I have to put it to you this way, how it is remarkable. When I spoke to Detective Salkeld at the hospital, he told me that, ironically, when he wiped the blood from Mr. Bryant's eyes out there, they both kind of pieced it up and started to say, I hurt you too. You know, we're both bleeding here, which was kind of remarkable. And then Mr. Bryant put it on paper, and you'll see what happens. There was an apology from Mr. Bryant later on, and Mr. Bryant says that Detective Salkeld, so I'll not paraphrase here just a little bit, just to be polite. He says stuff happens. Stuff happens. So that's unique in our business, I believe, and it's just the way we're doing business. So. Mr. Bryant's criminal history, yes, he's convicted for assault first degree, carrying a pistol, some other narcotics-related charges. He's presently on probation. He also has another conviction for a firearm charge. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure I forgot some things as I went, but I'm sure that we might have some questions that can refresh. Please.
Looking at one of the reports, it mentioned that one of the officers said that he thought he felt a gun. Do you know if there actually was a gun?
There was no firearm found. You know, I don't want to speak for the officer, but I think there was some weight in the pocket, which could have been the narcotics.
Describe the scene around the officers, because you hear people yelling and screaming and videotaping, and here they're making up and writing. And the scene around it, did they fear for their lives? Was there anger and aggression?
Whenever you're in a situation like this, Bob, you're always concerned about your surroundings and that others may join or assist the defendant. Really, we had officers responding to the area, which didn't inhibit the safety of the two officers with Mr. Bryant. We actually had officers that remained at the scene. They cleaned the blood from both parties, and they actually stayed and talked to a lot of residents that were out there. This is kind of police work that is diverging from that old way of doing business, and I think we're just going to continue with that. Each and every one we make